Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about how I spent only $100 a week in the most expensive place on earth. Maybe, well, at least the happiest place on earth, Walt Disney World. So, just a quick little refresher if you're new here, I worked down in Disney for the Disney College program from the end of January, really beginning of February through mid-May. So while I was down there, I worked in merchandise at World of Disney, which is the world's largest Disney store. And it's no secret that Disney employees, especially Disney College program employees, don't necessarily make the most money. We're not rolling in dough. Okay, so let's get into first earnings, I guess, and then we'll get into spending. We got paid $10 an hour, so our housing was about $105, I think, a week, and we got paid weekly, and the money was automatically taken out, as well as taxes usually took out about $50 to $80, depending on how much I made. My hours every week were around 30 hours every week. So I have my computer down below me. That's why I'm going to be looking down, because I'm going to be looking at the numbers, and then I'm going to insert images of what I'm looking at so that you guys can look along with me. So in total, I worked 354 hours over 11 weeks of working, and so that amounted to about 32 hours a week on average, and this is pretty much assigned to us when we get our schedules. I got usually 4 6-hour shifts, and then one 10 or 12-hour shift, so that's like maybe 35 hours-ish, and then I would trade the 10-hour shift or 12-hour shift because I prefer shorter shifts. So I was working about, on average 30 hours a week. So the amount of money I would have gotten, like just based on earning, would have been a little over $3,000, and then once you subtract tax, it would be about $2,700, and then once you take out housing, then it would be $100, and then once you take out housing, it would be about $1,500. And then on top of that, I did $50 of saving every week that I worked there, for the most part, and so that left me with $994 to spend. And also while I was down there, I was pretty much just using the money that I was making. There is an exception though, like when I first got there, I was given some gift cards before I got there, so I used some gift cards for like miscellaneous and like gifty, like souvenir type stuff, but for the most part, for like all the essentials, I was pretty much using only the money that I made there, plus I saved $50 a week, only working 30 hours. So that's like I think kind of impressive. And yeah, on average, every week I made about $124. The biggest or the highest my paycheck ever was $215, and then the lowest ever was $41, which is the first week when you just get paid for traditions or orientation, and then also one week in the middle, I only made $50 that week because my parents came to visit, so I just gave away like all my shifts because I wanted to spend time with my family since they came down to visit. I saved $50 a week for almost every week except for 3 weeks that I made under, like significantly under $100. In total, I saved $600 while I was down there. So then my new balance with taking out savings, about $90 a week. And I came in with about $290 worth of gift cards, and then I believe the first month my mom sent me $100 to help pay for initial things when you get down there, because I flew down, so I didn't bring any pillows, I didn't bring like dishware, toilet paper, like all these types of things for living, like shampoo, so I had to spend about like $100 just on like living things for when you first move in, but that was like a one-time expense, so my mom helped me pay for that. Into spending. So in February, I spent $689, and again, this was really high. This was my first month there, and so I was kind of just getting my cast like discounts and stuff, so I was going a little bit crazy with souvenir spending. So a lot of my expenses though really came down to food. $133 of that was just on like souvenir stuff at Cast Connections, and so yeah, this is unnecessary, and I paid for all this with a gift card, so it's not really, I don't really count as part of like my living expenses. But yeah, so for the most part, I would just eat kids meals. That's tip number one. If you're not that hungry, just eat the kids meals, and some places the kids meal offers even like more food, I would say, than adult meal. Pretty much like an adult meal would be like 5 chicken strips, and a kids meal would be like 3 or 4, but then you would also get fries and a drink and a cookie included, so it overall would be like way cheaper, and then you get way more food. Also to take into consideration is if you're a cast member that you get a 20% discount on some food places, especially in Animal Kingdom. So Flame Tree Barbecue is one of my favorite places to eat. They have amazing pulled pork mac and cheese, and their mandarin orange lemonade is so good. Also Pizzafari is very cheap. It's like a $5 kids meal and you get a lot of food. And I always would get things like a bottled drink, so that I could keep it throughout the day. Like I would get a chocolate milk because like soft drinks and stuff, like you can't really carry them on rides, so I would get a bottled drink. Or if I did get a soft drink, then I would always have my reusable water bottle and I would empty that out and put in the soft drink, so then I could keep it for longer throughout the day instead of just like drinking it for one meal and then not having a drink for the rest of the day and having to keep buying drinks. So in February was also the first time I ever went to Be Our Guest, which this is like literally my favorite thing I did. I think on my program was go to Be Our Guest for breakfast, and so the reason why I did breakfast is because lunch was super hard to get reservations, and even though lunch is the cheapest option, it was just so hard to get in. So for breakfast, it is $30 prefixed, but I split it with my boyfriend, Matthew, and so if you split it with one other person, we just got one entree, and that was more than enough food for both of us. We got the croque madame, which is amazing. It's just a bread, like open-faced sandwich with cheese, eggs, and ham. And then you get a fruit cup on the side, and then you get a pastry, a whole like spread of pastries. And then we ordered ahead of time, so the food came almost immediately after we sat down. And then we ordered chocolate milk as our drink. So we got a bottle of chocolate milk to go, and then on top of that, they also have like free drinks that you can go serve yourself. So you can go get the coffee or soda or orange juice that you want for breakfast, and then have a chocolate milk or a water bottle if you want to choose that to go for the rest of the day. I also brought my own Tupperware. Another tip for me is to bring a Tupperware because you never know if you have leftovers. A lot of places, especially like counter service, they're not going to give you any type of to-go box. So bring your own, so then you can keep your food and keep it like safe all day. So yeah, we had a lot of pastries because they give you about 4 or 5 pastries, like a chocolate croissant, cinnamon roll, blueberry muffin, things like that. And so I only ate the chocolate croissant, and then I ate half of the croque madame, and then Matthew ate half the croque madame and the fruit cup and I think one of the pastries. And then we had like 3 or 4 pastries left over, so we just took those to go. And then we also had our chocolate milk to go for later in the day when we got hungry again. We also went to Be Our Guest before the park opened, so if you have any breakfast reservation before the park opens, you can actually go in at the earliest time it opens. So our reservation was at 8:50, and the park didn't open until 9, but we got there at 8 because you can, everybody's let in. Even though your reservation's at 8:50, if you have any reservation before park opening, you're just let in, first come, first serve. So we were one of the first people in to Be Our Guests, even though we had that late 8:50 reservation. And we were, because we ordered online earlier, we got out really fast. And then we got to go wait in line for Seven Dwarfs, and the line was just waiting for the park to open. So as soon as the park opened, it was a walk-on. We like only waited 10 minutes, and we got right onto Seven Dwarfs mine train before anyone else got there. It was amazing. And then you just get a super early start to the day. And then you can beat all the crowds and get a lot of rides done in that early morning time before the park gets full. So I know a lot of my tips aren't really applicable because if you're not a cast member or annual pass holder, you're not going to get these 20% discount on a lot of merchandise and food stuff, as well as, of course, my ticket and my admission fee was paid for. So this kind of only applies if you have an annual pass or you're a cast member, so you don't, those things aren't included. But in terms of eating on a budget and things like that, it's totally doable. And this is, again, mostly directed to other people on the DCP, or people who are annual pass holders living in the area, but it's totally doable. So again, so I only went to do groceries about every 2 weeks, maybe every 1.5 weeks. I would take a day off and go down to Walmart because the CP bus took us there. And when I went to Walmart, I would usually spend between $60 and $80. So the main things I would usually get from groceries are, of course, milk. I would get the cheapest milk there is, and that would last me for however long it needed. I would get usually a gallon of water because the tap water was not the cleanest. So I would have a gallon of water that I would refill my water bottle with when I wasn't at work, when I was at home. I would get frozen pizzas, and Walmart has like a pack of 4 for $4 or something like that. It's like $1 for a meal, and so that's what I would eat a lot of days. Other things I would get would be Lunchables. I would get cheap like $1 bread and make peanut butter sandwiches. I would get cans of soup, which are $1. So like basically if you can get your meal count for when you're not eating in the parks to be as close to like $1 or $2 as you can, that's the best it's going to be. I would also get they get like a pack of 6 bagels for like $2 or $3, and then a tub of cream cheese for like $1 or $2, and that would be 6 meals right there. I would usually have that for breakfast, sometimes lunch. I tried a lot of different frozen foods while I was there, but nothing was really great. The only thing I would consistently get would be like frozen lasagnas from Stouffer's, and that would be a good dinner sometimes. So in March, I ended up spending $391. And this is including, like, I bought heck of a ton of stuff I didn't need, like from Cast Connections, which I'm doing a whole nother video on DCP haul and all the stuff I bought, or like any type of souvenir, like t-shirts, anything like that. I only spent about $400, I believe, my savings by using Cast discounts and buying from Cast Connections and Property Control and Damages. I saved about over $1,000 on Disney merchandise. So that's a huge thing. If you know you're gonna buy souvenirs, try to look in Cast Connections and Damages and like Character Warehouse, Outlet, things like that, because you're gonna find a lot of stuff that you might want there. You just have to be patient, keep looking. Or also look on Shop Disney, because Shop Disney carries different stuff and they have different prices, and they do have free shipping about 2 times a month. So also another recommendation is either have a car, but then I mean you have to pay for gas, but definitely try not to order like delivery that much, because the delivery fees are ridiculous. I don't know if it's just Florida, because I don't really order food when I'm like at home, or even in college I had a car, so I never really ordered in, but I did have to sometimes, because it's inevitable. Like if you want McDonald's, if you want Taco Bell, there's nowhere in walking distance, you're just gonna have to order it unless you can get a ride from somebody. So sometimes I think I got Taco Bell twice, and I think I got like Indian food once, because there's no Indian food anywhere on Disney property. Just a warning, the only place that's even close is Sanaa at Animal Kingdom Lodge, but even that is not true like Indian food. It's like more Americanized and like an African twist on Indian food, but also still Americanized, and it's very, very, very expensive. So yeah, if that's a tip, if you like Indian food and you're gonna live down there, be warned. Even like Asian food, it's hard to find any good like Korean barbecue or like boba. Like it's nowhere on property. You're gonna have to order it from off-site. Even in Epcot, it's like they have a couple options, but it's still not like good food. It's like touristy American food, because of course people come down there for vacation, not to live there, so it's a little bit hard to get a range of foods. A lot of times I was just eating pretty much American food while I was down there, and then every once in a while I would treat myself to Mexican Pavilion, their kids meal, the Mexican, I think it's Cantina de San Angel, their kids meal. They have cheese empanadas, they are so good, and nachos. Basically anytime you can find a kids meal that's not just like chicken tenders or like hot dog. Even hot dogs I've rarely found as kids meals. So most of the time it's really chicken tenders and pizza are your options, or like burger. So definitely look around for all those places that have unique kids meal opportunities, and places that offer you more different types of food. And it's also hard to get your protein in, because unless you're eating chicken tenders, you're not really getting meat, you know, pizza, sandwiches, fries, things like that, they're just carbs. Let's see, so then also, if you're down there and you're a Florida resident and you know you're gonna go to Universal Studios more than twice, I definitely recommend getting the annual pass, because then it pays for itself. So when I went down there, a 2-day ticket was about $270 to Universal Studios, and the annual pass for Florida residents was also $270. So I was like, okay, might as well get the annual pass. I only ended up going to Universal Studios twice, but now I have it for 18 more months, so in case I ever do go down to Florida, I can use it again, and it'll be essentially free. I had people visit every month, so during those times, it kind of evens out, because like, yeah, we went out to more expensive places, because when I was by myself, I would just like either bring food from home, or like just go out and get a $2 popcorn refill, invest in a popcorn bucket and invest in one early if you like popcorn, because then you get $2 refills for the rest of your program, and that can be a good snack if you're starving in the parks. Also, if you're a cast member, definitely try to go get food from the cast places, because they're way cheaper. Like a soda is only $1 instead of $3. Like I know one time I popped into Hollywood Studios before work, and instead of buying my breakfast from the guest areas, I just popped backstage and I got a donut and orange juice for like $2. Whereas if I got that in the park, that would have been like $10. So if you're a cast member, take advantage of that, or even if you're a guest, definitely stop by that local like 7-Eleven, the Speedway, the McDonald's if you're staying in the All-Star resorts, and get your breakfast there. Even if you're hungry late at night, just don't get that last cotton candy, that last Rice Krispie treat. Just wait until you get back to the resort and get some food. Even the resort like normal food is still a little bit better price than in the parks. If you wanted to get like a milk or things like that, like some of their snack stuff isn't too badly priced. But I would definitely recommend just like stopping by that gas station, picking up like anything like drinks. You are allowed to bring drinks into the parks. A lot of people did not know that. Like every time my family visited or anyone visited, they would be like, well, you can't bring drinks into the park, so that's why they charge like $3 for a bottle of water. And I'm like, no, you can bring drinks into the park. I believe it's no glass containers and you cannot have loose ice. I know that for sure. But bring your own empty bottle, bring your own soda, bring your own juice, bring your own whatever it is. Also, if you need milk, it's a little bit hard to find in the parks. Definitely try any places with kids meals. I know I got asked that a couple of times. Parents need milk for their kids, so if you're coming with a small child, definitely bring your own milk. milk or get those kids meals that have milk. So if you want to save money and you're not a big breakfast person, I definitely don't recommend doing any fancy character breakfasts because I find breakfast is the most overpriced meal. So definitely if you want to save money on breakfast, unless you're somebody who loves breakfast or you're going to use it more as a brunch. But if you're doing that early morning breakfast, unless like for Be Our Guest, that was an experience I really wanted to do because of the place. But for like buffets and stuff, I did Boma, and I know my roommates did Ohana and a couple other places. It's like, you know, $30 prefixed price, or it's like a buffet, and it's so much money. And there's Waffle House that's cheaper. You can get McDonald's for cheaper. Most times your hotel will have free breakfast if you're not staying at a resort. So honestly, breakfast, that's the place where you can save a lot of money. And I usually didn't eat breakfast even in my own daily life. I usually just have a glass of milk. I would bring a little container of dry cereal and have that and a Danimals. Like, I would buy Danimals, and that would be like my breakfast. I would just have Danimals and a little bit of cereal, or Danimals and a bagel, and that would be my breakfast, and sometimes my lunch too if I had a morning shift. That's all I would eat for my whole morning half. Let's see. Also, if you're on the college program, I definitely recommend checking out the trading post.
Ready to party, won't be late, we won't be late. Let's get it started, cause we just can't wait. You're excited, and here you sit, and here you M-I-C-K-E-Y, M-O-U-S-E.